wanted to give everybody an update on what's happening with Wesley. So Wesley had some issues this week. We ended up taking him to the hospital, and he was admitted for a few days. While at the hospital, we did learn, we already knew he was in rejection, but when we were at the hospital, they let us know that his rejection is a little worse than what they initially thought. So it's kind of disappointing, but I do appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers. I have a lot of faith and hope that he will get better. They are giving him high dose steroids right now, so hopefully that will get everything under control. It's still frustrating. It just reminds me why we fight, why this is so important. When the manufacturers tell us to throw away the medications, when the FDA tells us to throw away the medications, when USP Pharmacopoeia doesn't approve, and USP, by the way, they write a lot of recommendations that the FDA and the state boards of pharmacy usually will adhere to in their regulations, but unfortunately the state boards across our nation, either they don't enforce those regulations or they're non-existent. But if you look up the makeup of our state boards, you will find out why. A lot of the people on our state boards are from PBMs or pharmacy benefit managers like Express Scripts, OptumRx, CVS Caremark. So, it's really hard to trust them to put patients first over their billion-dollar company. So this started back around the time that they shipped his medications without any protection. I've noticed that Wesley's labs were higher than normal, one's out of range, and this has been most of the time since right after that moment. Prior to that, his labs were a lot lower for the 6 to 7 draws before that. So it's just frustrating to me to know that my son's condition may have worsened again from the mail order pharmacy not shipping his meds appropriately. And when I called the mail order pharmacy, they told me to give my son the medications. They told me it was safe.
So my child's liquid medications that I gave him, his transplant medications that I gave him, 102 degrees on a UPS truck. Do you feel like, I should have been warned that medication could have been, lower potency?
As far as we don't have any data that really says that is to happen. I can't really say that there is a warning that we give to people.
Is there anything saying that, hey, that medication was safe at 102 degrees? I mean, because from my understanding, the children's oral medications are generally not even tested at that temperature.
I can't speak other than I can just kind of give the recommendation and see if that is something we will include. I know that we are including, once we do the refill process, that we make them aware that it's shipped without ice. And then it's really just kind of a case-by-case basis now. If a patient were to receive their med and the capsules are melted, in those situations we definitely will replace the medication.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to dodge them, but there's just a lot of...
It just sounds like the testing isn't there to show that the medications are safe, and then you have the law that doesn't require the testing or the packaging to make sure that these medications are safe.
You reach out to the FDA, and the FDA says they get calls like this in the middle of every summer, every winter. Contact the state boards of pharmacy. It took a while, not until after the media actually contacted the state boards of pharmacy that I really feel like the state board of pharmacy was taking the issue seriously. And honestly, some state boards will say, well, patients need to file a complaint, but sometimes that complaint process is very hard to do for some. Some don't know how to do it, or it's not always an easy process to get to someone even at the state boards of pharmacy. So, and another thing is, why do patients have to file a complaint? You're supposed to be protecting them. Why do we have to be the experts on, the FDA says don't do this, the USP Pharmacopoeia says not to do this, the manufacturer says not to do this. If the state boards know that all of these other agencies are saying do not do this, why are they allowing it, and why aren't they protecting us? So, sorry, I get frustrated because they're risking people's lives, and I could seriously lose my son because of this, and it doesn't make sense. And I mean, that's just the temperature issue. So many other issues with mail order pharmacy. The delays, I've seen transplant patients go on days without medications. I'm very thankful to a woman by the name of Erica who recently spoke about that with her daughter, and sad that her husband was on the phone with them saying that he wasn't going to hang up until he got his daughter's medications because they weren't going to be arriving on time. And as a transplant patient, your life depends on medications every 12 hours. So with everything that happened this week, I wasn't able to make it to the New Jersey Board of Pharmacy meeting. So if you're in New Jersey, that's the next state that's going to be taking up these issues. So please get involved there. Demand that they protect our medications from the extreme temperatures. Don't allow them to say, oh, they're great at these temperatures of 120 to 170, that there's all this additional stability data. They just don't give it to us. Guess what? Few, if any, manufacturers will say that it's okay to store your medications in 120 to 170 degrees, and that's how hot your mailbox and as well as those trucks can get on a 90 to 100 degree day. So we have to make sure that they're prioritizing patients. So I'm sorry if I look tired today. We did just get home from the hospital, which is the good news. So I am thankful to the New Jersey pharmacist because I wasn't able to go. There was an independent pharmacist who went and spoke and really began to hold them accountable and just let them know that this is an issue and it's not going to go away. They're not just going to allow them to overlook that. And that's just really brave because the pharmacy benefit managers process the payments for the patients, and pharmacy benefit managers again are like CVS, Caremark, OptumRx, and Express Scripts. They process the payments and they have to have they handle the pharmacy benefits, and the pharmacies have to have contracts with them. So if they don't do what the pharmacy benefit managers want, a lot of the pharmacists fear that they will that the PBMs can audit them out of business, and that is a real fear. Absolutely. That's why a lot of pharmacists are on Twitter right now. If you go to Twitter, you'll see a lot of pharmacists who are speaking out against PBMs, and it's because that's where they can go and they can be hidden from the public and they can voice their opinions and they can fight without having to worry about losing their business. So sad that that's what we've come to, but I do appreciate all the pharmacists who speak out, even if it's behind the curtain. However you can do it, I appreciate you. You have to think about it. We have an oligopoly of PBMs, so the 3 PBMs handle most of the patient's pharmacy benefits across our nation. So if a pharmacist loses one of those contracts, that's 30% of their business gone. So these pharmacy benefit managers also own their own pharmacies that they like to force patients to. In Oklahoma passed a wonderful bill against the forcing and steering of mail order pharmacy. The governor signed on that. Unfortunately, the pharmacy benefits managers and their association, Pharmaceutical Care Management Association, PCMA, they are fighting this. So what PCMA is saying is that the Oklahoma legislation goes against a law called ERISA, which is for the self-insured plans, employer plans. So ERISA hasn't been updated in a long time. It's way overdue. And if our employers cannot decide what's best for patients, if they really think that us getting our medications delivered in such a way that the manufacturer says to discard, if risking our lives with life-threatening delays is really something that the employer thinks that we need to be forced to do, then I'm sorry, I don't think the employer is responsible enough to make the best decisions for the patient at this point. I really feel like the PBMs have pulled the wool over their eyes. We had a mom recently who stated that Express Scripts lied to her employer and said that the medications do not go over 86 degrees during transport, and that's just not true. Whenever she knows they're being shipped in only a bag, and we know that the trucks are not air conditioned. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who are still with us, who are fighting with us. I know this is going to be a long, hard battle, because when I spoke to the U.S. Department of Labor, they said, well, we need to get together, we need to unite, and we need to change the laws. Well, many states are effectively passing legislation to change the laws, and then the Pharmaceutical Care Management Association, the Association for PBMs like CVS, Caremark, OptumRx, Express Scripts, they go back and they say, oh, nope, can't do it because of ERISA, and then that law can just end up getting tossed. So we're trying everything that we can do. So thank you so much to those of you who are still with us, who are still fighting this long, hard battle. I wish I could say that there's an end in sight, but I don't know. It just seems like they have billions of dollars and they use it to lobby our officials and to fight legislation as it passes. And this legislation would save patients' lives, and they just it's all about their profits. And I hope that those of you who are patients, that when you can, that you will fight. And I hope for those of you who are healthy and who are able to do more, I hope that you will. Because right now it's hard for me, because I feel like right now I have to be with my son and I have to make sure that he's okay. I can do this, and I can do everything I can do from my computer to try to raise awareness, but he needs me right now. So we also need you. We need your help. Whatever you can do, let me know. I'll put my email address in the link below. You can also donate to our nonprofit, Unite for Safe Medications. We have a Facebook page, Issues with Melwood Pharmacy. I'm also on Twitter as Bozing Loretta. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for learning about this issue. It's because of our supporters, change.org, the pharmacists who are fighting, and just anyone. I don't want to leave off anyone. I appreciate anyone who's helping us to raise awareness and to win the fight and to help save patients' lives. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.